Well, that's certainly, we are actually proud. I'm not sure that the city has publicized as much work as it has actually done over the years in the Trinity Center and all the various areas. The concern often is that we build beautiful units, and you're exactly right. If they're not subsidized, they're almost unaffordable for our kids and people here in Walnut Creek. And that's always kind of a roadblock, developing and then getting people into them that can afford them. Because as people often say, many of the people that work in our downtown live in Brentwood and Oakley and other places and have to commute into Walnut Creek for their jobs. I understand that there is a questionnaire circulating online about builder resident stakeholder satisfaction with planning. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, indeed. So we issued we didn't commission it, we issued it. We sent out a survey, and it has two purposes. One is, as you know, we're moving to reopening to the public, and on June 15th, we'll have services available by appointment generally. And so based on some of the permit streamlining programs, the Blueprint for Success, for example, we've been steadily increasing the range of digital services that we provide. So the first purpose in issuing the survey was to ask, just in a survey form, how's it going? What digital services have you used? What should we continue to do? And what should we continue to do in person? So one was just that. And the other was a little bit more about kind of customer service. What has your experience been? What's working well? What's not working well? And we also asked a question about, did you have experiences with other cities that we could learn from? And so this is really kind of the first, my first entree here into customer service focus. And simply asking our customers what's going on. We had a total of 123 responses. 63% were from homeowners, 15% from other, it wasn't specified, 11% from contractors, about 8% by business owners, and then 3% by developers. So just through those numbers, you can see that a large majority of our services are by individual homeowners who are doing home improvement projects that require building permits. And so obviously we need to, I think, increase our outreach to other points in the permitting process, the entitlement process, the grading, final map process, and continued work in building. We had mixed responses, and I think you can tell when some of the respondents were in the business, in the industry, there seems to be a high support for digital services. Some of the reflections are, if you're local, a homeowner, for example, you might just need more help. You don't know the codes as much as you could if you were truly a practitioner. And so there's support for more in-person and ability to dialogue. I think that, it's given us some information about how we can make our public services more robust, simply offering online calls, for example. So online question and answer could be more important. We got some great input about other good examples of in-person or of digital services and processes as well. Berkeley's digital plan submittal process, Alameda. I think we had just comments about pure customer service as well. Were we accessible? Did we provide enough information? And so we'll take that and continue our effort to improve services. We're going to start a deep dive into the permit processing, where we are actually going to audit our workflows, understand what our time obligations are and how we're starting to report our own performance. And we'll take those performance data points and include them with other data points about economic development. In a recent priorities session with our city council and Councilmember Darling asked if we could have better public information and kind of economic development information, and permitting is certainly part of that. So I think we can do a lot with this survey, and you'll see more of these, and you'll see also us forming probably a technical working group with some of our most frequent applicants to go through those 3 phases of process, and again to have a deep dive into what's working and what we can improve.
That's great. We're coming right up. I'm going to ask you one more question, kind of a combined question. We like to kind of finish up around 10, but this week, I'd love to keep you here till 11 because there's lots, but you've provided an awful lot. This has been very, very helpful. But I do want to say, and probably Kathy Hemingway is on the call here of our downtown partnership with, among other people asking questions, what about those parklets? And what are your views on allowing more flexible zoning to fill vacancies in the traditional downtown, such as ground floor real estate, that kind of thing? So I'm throwing you a big one here right at the end.
Great. Big soft pitch.
Yeah,
thanks.
no kidding.
So I'll hit it out of the park then. So I think the city, through the economic development program, and I know you all know Terry Kilgore. So she and I are teaming up to make sure that the economic and community development functions are completely integrated. And I think there are a lot of opportunities there. I think the code is pretty old. It hasn't been touched in quite some time. And I think it's going to drive us through this Downtown Next program to really look at how are we focused on providing and ensuring that we have that critical mass that is driving destination visitation, but how do we allow flexibility? So not every space will be, and it's not every space now is a high producing restaurant. So I think that our code is going to get a good tough look at it and figure out, and also based on literature review on other more successful places or places that have particularly good practices. So we'll dig into that. I think traffic and parking, it's the blessing and the curse, right? So it shows that you're successful, and it's a thing to manage, and people are going someplace, right? So you need to be able to accommodate them. And in terms of parklets, what I'm noticing is, it's pervasive. So in San Jose, in San Francisco, in Los Angeles and San Diego, everywhere where this is going on, there are some really good factors about it, and then there's some challenges. And so I think as a COVID-related experiment, it's been very, very successful. And I think now is through this Downtown Next program, we'll be going to the city council with and reaching out to the community with more and more surveys, understanding not only what it is, but why we're doing it. Why is it that people want to see more parklets? Certainly it's providing space. I just observed over the weekend while I'm cruising through downtown, walking, boots on the ground, my daughter and I had dinner here last Friday. And, the parklets actually form kind of a traffic calming function. So I think that there are this is going to be a really cool experiment to refine and develop and to make sure that it works for everybody, right? Because downtowns are a mix of uses, and so what works for the restaurant might not work for the retailer. So how do we understand what those issues are, and then how do we balance them out? And how do we bring really solid recommendations with good, diverse input from the community? How do we bring that to the city council?
Thank you very much, Mark. I'm going to very quickly pass this back to the chair of this committee, Ron Hermanson, for his final remarks. But I just want to thank you very much. And I do want to issue an invitation. We would love to have you back within the next 6 months to a year to kind of see where things are, just a font of knowledge. And we didn't get to half the questions, but I think we really gave everybody a good understanding of who Mark Wardlaw is and the very positive direction that the city is heading. So, Ron.
Thank you, Matt. And as you heard Matt just offering a word of thanks to Mark, I want to thank first Matt for your superb job once again in moderating this. And Mark, it's a pleasure to meet your virtual acquaintance. I look forward to coffee or something down the road here. Speaking of thanks, again, at the beginning, I acknowledged the members of the steering committee. I won't do that again, but I also want to acknowledge the staff. Lynn has been invaluable to us in kind of helping us to move together. And of course, having Bob, our new CEO, Bob Lynchide, is just a tremendous shot in the arm. The steering committee will be meeting this Thursday to plan for our next meeting, which, in case you don't have it on your calendar, it's Tuesday, July the 13th, July 1-3. We're looking to find ways that we can hear from you about topics and presenters and issues that you'd like us to talk about. So we're talking about that and see if we can come together with some ways. Finally, I want to thank the members of this chamber. You know, our membership ranks have taken a hit over the past year during the pandemic. We're in the process of trying to rebuild that now. I want to thank our sponsors, those of you who your organizations have supported us for things like the East Bay Women's Conference, for the Art and Wine Festival, and so many others. We thank you, we need you, we want you, and we look forward to not only your support, but the additional support of others as we ourselves get back to business and move out of this, what we've been experiencing the past year, into kind of a new day together. Look forward to seeing you all on July 13th. Thank you for attending this morning and have a great rest of your business week.